Hmm. Good evening, everyone. We will now begin the evening service of the Miroku Association headquarters, expressing our gratitude to God and Meishu-sama for blessings and protection received while participating in the construction of paradise on earth. Amatsu-Norito and Miroku Prayer, please stand. 高天原にかむずまります。かむろぎかむろみのみこともちで、すめみおやかむいざなぎのみことはつくしのひむかの立ち花のおどのあわぎはらみそぎ払いたも時になりませる。払いどの神たちへもろもろのまがごと積み汚れを払いたまえ清めたまえと直すことのよしを天津神国津神青よろずの神たちともに雨の内駒の耳振り立てて、いこしめせとかしこみもます。弥勒大神、守りたまえ、先生えたまえ。弥勒大神、守りたまえ、先生えたまえ。教えみよや主の神、守りたまえ、先生えたまえ。教えみよや主の神、守りたまえ、先生えたまえ。かんながら魂はえませ。かんながら魂はえませ。Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of light, a time long awaited by all humanity. Thank you for guiding us to your divine plan and for the privilege of channeling and receiving Johrei. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we live your truth given to us by Meishu-sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us, radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan. Please be seated. We will now receive Group Johrei.
May God and Meishu-sama bless you.
Johrei is now concluded. We will now listen to a reading from Meishu-sama's teachings. In service to humanity, born as human beings, it is our duty to strive our utmost for peace in the world and the happiness of others. Those who love humanity and help people in need are always loved and protected by God wherever they may go. A person who strives constantly to help others and better the world is like a diamond buried in the sand. Every home, every individual has a spiritual atmosphere. There are homes that are warm and friendly, but sometimes when you visit a home, you somehow feel a certain coldness or loneliness. This happens because the family members, particularly the head of the family, lack enough love. These people have cold and selfish hearts and don't care about the welfare of others. Their frigid thoughts the home's atmosphere, and you feel cold when you visit. The same applies to people. Some people leave you with a cold impression, and others a warm one. This is due to spiritual vibration that each person has. When you meet them, you somehow feel it. Those who are full of love emanate warmth. When love is plentiful and strong, there is abundant light. Since people yearn for light and are drawn to it by nature, they naturally turn to these warm and bright places in loving people.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this evening service of the Miroku Association headquarters. This evening, I have a faith experience that I would like to share with you. It's from Mozambique, Africa. Mozambique is where Minister Romeoson's brother, Roberto Cândido, is been serving for many years. And the experience is from Maura Tatiana Américo Maraca. Maura Tatiana is 23 years old and has been a member of our church since 2016, and she gives service at the Jardim Johrei Center. She was introduced to our church in Mozambique in December 2015 by Ernesto Vitorino Jambane, who is also a Johrei member. What led her to know the church was curiosity, because at the time she believed that everything was fine with her, which made her dedicate to help her parents, who were going through a complicated phase of their marriage for more than 18 years. Thanks to God and Messiah Meishu-sama, while dedicating to the goal of harmony between them, she was awakened to several problems that she had and that were overcome with our basic practice of faith. Some of these problems were gastritis due to poor diet, which inspired her to change to a healthy diet through the practice of nature farming, had family emotional conflicts, lack of spiritual peace, in addition to fear and anxiety. In 2019, she had the opportunity to experience the miracle she had been waiting for since she came to our church, which was to see her parents living in harmony. Thanks to God and Messiah Meishu-sama, they renewed their vows, and today they are a united family. It should be noted that she only had this permission after dedicating Kanon's picture in their home. The faith experience that she's sharing now with us is related to the practice of Johrei. The beginning of the second half of July of this year, she got a very bad flu, and because of the current situation of the coronavirus pandemic, she had to be isolated at home. During this purification, her parents recommended natural herbal treatments and flu remedies. During this period, she intensified the channeling of self-Johrei and in reading Meishu-sama's teachings. She received Johrei assistance from a member and consumed lots of soups made with vegetables from her home garden. She was in a lot of pain, but didn't have to resort to medications. She received protection and had a better understanding of what was happening to her by reading the teachings of Meishu-sama that talked about the flu. She read the teachings repeatedly and expressed gratitude for the blessing of being able to eliminate toxins from her body. When she was almost recovered from the flu, she had an asthma attack. Since she became a member, she has reduced the use of medication by almost 90%. But she was unable to do this with asthma because she was very afraid of the disease, since she had suffered from it since she was 4 years old. Since then, she underwent several treatments, both from conventional and folk medicine, but none of them had the expected effect. In this last crisis, although desperate for the fact of not being able to breathe normally, Maura gathered her strength and put her hand on her chest and channeled self-Johrei, calling for Meishu-sama until she fell asleep. Upon waking up, she noticed that she was already better. She continued the practice of faith and received assistance until she fully recovered. She went to their headquarters to materialize her donation of gratitude, but she still felt that this was not enough. She's preparing to materialize her gratitude accordingly, even though she knows that whatever she donates is not going to be enough, because once again she had her life saved. After long years of suffering, she was able to see the light and be calm about a disease that cannot be cured by medicine. With this experience, she gained even more conviction in Johrei and have reserved some time just for self-channeling, something whose effect she sometimes even doubted because she was receiving it from her own hands. She also reconfirmed that Meishu-sama is the long-awaited Messiah for humanity. To the Supreme God, to Messiah Meishu-sama, and to her ancestors, Maura Tatiana expresses her deep and eternal gratitude for leading her on this path of salvation, and a special thanks to Josefa John, who always gives Maura religious assistance at her home. She is also thankful to the ministers, instructors, members, visitors, and the faithful at large. So that was the faith experience from Maura Tatiana of Mozambique, Africa. Another experience I would like to share with you this evening is from the country of Benin, Africa. And is from Lokoi Igor Gbodje. Lokoi is a missionary and he gives service as the head of a Johrei group. He was introduced to our church in Benin in 2014 through a Johrei member. The reasons behind his joining this faith were difficulties in finishing university studies, financial difficulties and debts, and family conflicts. With the fulfillment of our basic practices of faith, after 3 months, everything was resolved. To express gratitude for his new life, he made a special donation and became a Johrei member so that he could participate in the salvation of humanity. The experience of faith that he's actually sharing with us is related to changes that have taken place in his life and the lives of other people he gives assistance. After receiving the Ohikari, he had great difficulty in channeling Johrei. As he lived 15 miles from the center, he was unable to go to church every day to dedicate. In this way, his minister instructed him to channel Johrei to those in his neighborhood. In the beginning, nobody wanted to receive Johrei, and people had fun laughing at him. One day, he came across a lady who went to his coffee shop to buy some products. She was carrying a 4-year-old child on her back, who, according to her, did not walk, did not speak, and drooled. And they had already undergone several treatments in Kimbanda houses, which are folk treatments, and other churches with no results. In one of the churches, the priest said that her illness had no cure. Local, we asked her, the mother's permission to start assisting her daughter with Johrei. At first, the lady didn't pay much attention to his presence, but after 2 weeks of Johrei assistance, the child stopped drooling and started to crawl. With this change, the mother started to take the child to his house for Johrei. 3 months later, the child started walking and talking normally. This miracle caught the attention of neighbors, and people who knew this child began to look for him to receive Johrei. His uncle, who suffered from blindness, by receiving Johrei, also improved. His father, grateful for his brother's cure, gave a space in his backyard for the channeling of Johrei. A lady who suffered from leukemia, according to doctors, had only 1 month to live. With Johrei, 2 years have passed, and the exams indicated that she is already cured. The number of members is steadily increasing. Today, they have 357 active participants, of which 53 are members and 27 are confirmed candidates for the next Ohikari presentation. Due to space limitations on Wednesdays and Sundays, they hold 2 services, from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. As a result of the guidance received from their headquarters, the faithful have received many blessings in their lives, and in gratitude, they acquired 2 plots of land. One is in the Hebier district, and another in the historic city of Oida, with 500 square meters for the construction of Johrei centers. On August 18 of this year, Loco Ui gained permission to have his home altar dedicated, to gain more strength in guiding others to the path of salvation. Loco, we learned that in the practice of faith, following our minister's guidance is fundamental, as it allows us to bring happiness to others, help us in the process of accumulating virtues, and allow us to gain strength in order to change our fates. Loco Ui is very thankful to God, Messiah Meishu-sama, and his ancestors for allowing him to participate in this path of salvation. He is also thankful for his ministers for their guidance and wisdom. His commitment is to guide as many people as possible to this path of salvation. I was very excited to share this faith experience from Benin. It's the very first time that I share faith experience from that country. And it mentions the historic city of Oida. Oida is a port city where hundreds of thousands of slaves were sent to the New World. So there are lots of clouds that need to be purified in that place. Oida is also known to be the Vatican of voodoo. So voodoo has its origins over there. But voodoo is not has many aspects to it. It's not just what normally people understand. And one interesting experience that our Johrei ministers had over there goes like this. Because then this voodoo, known as a religion in Benin, is very traditional. Has its roots, counting many hundreds of years. So any religion that tries to apply for registration in that country, besides going to the local authorities as one normally would do, the authorities consult the voodoo masters over there to see whether the religious movement is fake or if it is true. So our movement to have its registration in Benin had to go through the same process. And it was approved, and it was what the minister was told then is that the voodoo masters, they consulted with the spirits of water, the spirits of earth, the spirits of air, and found, no, this religion is good and it's coming to this country to help. So that is very true, how spiritual precedes the physical, and that's our work over there. So I'm very excited, very happy that Johrei is growing in that part of Africa, which is historically so important. There are so many clouds to be purified from there, and we are doing our part. I want to thank you for listening to this faith experience. I want to invite you to join us in prayer. This Sunday is our annual ancestor service, one of the most important services of the year for us. So I would like to suggest that you make a list of the family names and the individual names of the ancestors, of the loved ones who are residents in the spiritual realm, so we can include these names in the altar. We are going to send forms to many of you. If you are not in our email list, you can still try to send this list, and we will print them and put on our altar for this Sunday at 11 a.m. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening.
This brings to a conclusion our evening service. Thank you everyone for joining us, and have a blessed evening.